Hey everyone, it's Mr. Wild194. I hope you're doing well today. I have a book haul for you. It's, as a matter of fact, the first book review, or book haul, excuse me, that I've done for this channel, Mr. Wild194, my new Mr. Wild194. I used to have an old one, I have this one now. I have 5 books that I picked up tonight, spent quite a bit of money. I haven't been to Barnes & Noble in a long time, mainly because I just have my issues with Barnes & Noble. A lot of the time they don't have anything that I'm interested in. I don't really read a whole lot of thrillers right now, or recently at least. Maybe I'll pick up some more of that in the future, some more mystery type stuff. But I kind of find myself a little bit caught in the middle because I go to Barnes & Noble, I want Jonathan Mayberry books, I want Richard Lehman books, I want Brian Keene books. They never carry any of these people. Jonathan Mayberry may have a couple of things here and there, but his big stuff like Rot and Ruin, which is like one of the best books I've ever read in my life as a series. Every single book was really good from what I remember. I loved all of them. Probably my favorite book series of all time, aside from his other one called the Pine Deep Trilogy, which was just amazing. That's not YA, that's straight up adult horror, but anyway, they don't carry like anything that I like anymore, anything I want to buy. I'm usually just either rebuying copies of something that I already love, like, I don't know, like a Stephen King book, like Doom McKee or something, Bag of Bones. I buy like every version of those that come out. The Stand, that kind of thing. I'm put off when I don't find anything, but I went into their newfound horror section they've had for about 6 or so months, and I kept looking at it over the time. I didn't really see anything I liked. They hadn't really done anything special. COVID didn't really help that any, but I keep feeling like Barnes & Noble does not go out of their way to pick up the big stuff, like splatterpunk stuff. It seems like they've kind of cast that to the side, as have many people, except for the horror subgenre fans like myself. It's crazy the kind of stuff you can find in Barnes & Noble right now. So I'm going to show you all the stuff I picked up. Not all of these are adult horror, but we'll talk about that as we get there. This first one I have never heard of before. Apparently came out in 2020, I assume, or early this year. I believe it's 2020 because this is like February 2021. I don't think anything's come out as far as I know. This is called The Living Dead, a new novel. George A. Romero started writing this and then he died. And then Daniel Kraus picked it up and finished the book. This is a big book, a big old hardcover. I'm so glad I picked this up. I do have that original book that George Romero wrote with the guy who also helped write the script or either wrote the script. I think he co-wrote the script with Romero of Night of the Living Dead. And they also wrote Return of the Living Dead as an also kind of novella type thing. And there was one book out there called The Living Dead with both books combined into one. I think I have a copy. I may or may not have gotten rid of it. I hope I didn't. I think it's in my house, my old house where I used to live before I got married. Hopefully it's in there. I'll get it eventually out and read it at some point. This sounds really cool. I guess it's just kind of a mixture of Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, some other stuff mixed in there. I don't think there's like anything big with this. Apparently Romero just got sick of making all of his Dead movies, which after like Day of the Dead, they're not very good from what I remember. I haven't watched all of them. I think I've seen bits and pieces of every single one of them, but I haven't watched all of them all the way through. I think there's a Diary of the Dead too. I haven't watched that. I've seen the first one. Did not like it except for maybe the first third of the movie. I don't remember. It's been forever, dude. There's so many of those. Anyway, the only thing I see about this that's going to be a problem that I do not like, I hate when books do this. This is not cool. I want everybody to listen to me right now. Every publisher out there, if you ever come across my channel, listen to me right now. Do not do these page things that people do where they have, you know, these pages that are cut uneven to have a stylistic approach to it. Yeah, you could say, oh, it's supposed to look ravaged because it's zombie apocalypse stuff. Yeah, I get that. Post-apocalyptic stuff. I get what you're saying. You are making this more difficult to read by doing that. I don't like it. I don't think most people like it. I don't think anybody I've ever talked to has said that they like this happening to books. So stop it. But it's a big one. Like I said, 700 pages or so, somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah, roughly 700. Has some author notes in there and stuff. I'm really excited about that particular one. Now, looking through the horror section some more, I found this. This sounds so good. I'm curious about how much I'm going to like it. Because the more I read on the back of it and the more I did a little bit of faint trying to avoid spoilers research on Goodreads, which I do sometimes when I pick up certain books or have an interest in picking up a certain book, I saw this and I read the top and I did not continue to read more. Apparently this is a short story collection, I assume, with probably a wraparound, but probably not a wraparound at the same time. This is inspired by events from the Shudder original podcast, Video Palace, In Search of the Eyeless Man. Apparently it says at the bottom, collected stories. It says source Dr. Maynard Wills, so I don't know if somebody else wrote this. I mean, I guess. I don't know. Collected story, source Dr. Maynard Wills. Edited by Nick Braccia and Michael Manello. I don't know. This is about 370 pages or so. That cover looks so cool. Of course, this is hardcover as well. Really excited about this. It kind of reminds me of the VHS cover a little bit, and the more I read about the thing, it sounds a little interesting too. Oh, is that supposed to be up there? I don't know if that's shelf damage up there or what, but I'm going to check into that because I don't like that. I don't think it is, actually. I think it's supposed to look like it's like glitchy, you know, because you're involving videotapes in here. I don't know exactly what to tell you. I know the Living Dead story of that book is kind of just a zombie Romero story that he started writing and then he died. Somebody else picked it up. Seems to have some fairly popular reviews. I have not looked too much of Video Palace to see what people say about it. I've never heard of the podcast before because I don't really listen to podcasts. If this is good, I might listen to that podcast. I'll show you a little bit about what this is about. In the popular podcast Video Palace, Mark Cambria, aided by his girlfriend Tamara Wolfe, investigated the origins of a series of esoteric white videotapes. Cambria went missing in pursuit of these tapes, but not before hearing whispers of an ominous figure called the Eyeless Man. Fascinated by these events, Maynard Wills, Ph.D., a professor of folklore, embarks on his own investigation into the origins of the tapes and the Eyeless Man, who he believes has lurked in the dark corners of media culture and urban legends for decades. I love me some urban legends. So whether this is based on some kind of legitimate urban legend or just kind of a fake fraud one for a podcast show type thing, I'm going to be cool with that. This sounds like it has kind of a creepypasta feel to it, which I love, because it's like the crappier version of urban legends. But if this is more urban legend style, I'm going to love that too. Anyway, let's go on and read more. As part of his study, he has invited popular writers of horror and gothic fiction to share their Eyeless Man stories, whether heard around the campfire or experienced personally. Those who participated include Bram Stoker Award winners Al Goingback and John Skipp, plus Bria Grant, Graham Skipper, and an eclectic collection of darkness seekers. I'll read through those different people in a moment just to show you who all's in here. I haven't heard any of those people just now. As Dr. Wills chases the shadowy eyeless man, he is increasingly unable to separate fact from folklore. Only his protege, Daniel Carter, strives to save him from the fate that befell Mark Cambria and untold others. Read this thrilling and terrifying collection at your own risk. You might just get swept away too. Sounds kind of neat. Who all wrote in this? I didn't even know this was a short story collection until I got home. It doesn't say anything. Okay, maybe we'll go to the back and see if there's any authors listed in here. Okay, contributors. Bob DeRosa, I believe he was a writer for DOA, Extreme Horror Collection Anthology. I read the first one. There's 3 of those books. He might have been in all 3. I don't know. But I read the first one. I'm pretty sure I've read his name somewhere in there. Myrav Devash. I don't know who that is. Al Goingback. Literally Owl as in O-W-L. You know. Bria Grant. Maren J. McCormick. David Ian McKendry. I feel like I know that name from somewhere as well. Hellraiser Anthology, Volumes 1 and 2. Are those comics? I guess they are. Rebecca McKendry, Eddie McNamara. I think he was a writer too in that Extreme Horror Collection thing I was talking about. I also have a review for that here on my channel in case you want to check that out. Mary Phillips Sandy, don't know her. Ben Rock, don't know him. John Skipp, don't think I know him either. Graham Skipper, don't think I know him. Gordon B. White, don't think I know him. Oh, I think I missed a page. Yeah, that was it. Quite a few writers on this. I didn't know this was an anthology of different writers working on this, but even so, I mean, if it could be good, I'll be fine with that. I don't really care. But yeah, I hope it's kind of like a VHS type thing, like the movie is VHS. I love those first 2. Third one has its moments, but it's kind of, you know, garbage. Anyway, Video Palace. This book right here, I have been watching this fellow's YouTube channel for like over a year now. I love his content. One of my favorites on YouTube when it comes to book or author tubers in general. I love Travis McBee. This is not from him. I want to get his stuff at some point. But this is Adam Caesar, or Caesar. I think it's Adam Caesar. Clown in a Cornfield, his debut novel, where he even got a quote from Clive Barker up here. First off, this cover looks like vintage classic horror 80s covers. And I love that about it. It looks so great. I cannot wait to read this book. Apparently this is a young adult book. I found it in the young adult section amongst all the weirdo stuff that's in YA now. Why do you read YA? Clown in a Cornfield is not a super long book. It's roughly 340 pages long. It's kind of cool opening up the back and seeing Adam's little picture there. I love him. He's such a cool guy, very down to earth. This is essentially just a slasher book for young adults. Apparently there's a lot of stuff in here that Adam himself was talking about, the surprise of what was allowed to be written for this book. Talked about some sex, I think some nudity, a lot of gore is what he said. So I'm kind of wondering, is he's a big horror reader as well. I've seen a lot of his recommendations for things he says people should read, so he may or may not be overblowing how much gore he says is in this, but I'll see. I'll see and I'll review it at some point, God willing. I cannot wait to read that book. I bet it's great. Apparently it's a guy wearing a clown mask stalking teenagers. The back of the book has some great recommendations. Of course, like I said, you have Clive Barker on the front. On the back, one of my favorites on here, I could not believe when I saw this. Had to take a double take at first. Nick Antosca, yeah, creator of Channel Zero. Channel Zero is the scariest TV show and scariest thing I've probably ever watched in my life. I love Eraserhead from David Lynch. It's probably my favorite scariest movie of all time. Nick Antosca's Channel Zero is utterly terrifying. I've watched 3 of the 4 seasons, and it's not even in order. I started with season 4, which was amazing, just absolutely unparalleled when it comes to TV. I went back, I watched the first season, I watched the second season. Both of those are excellent as well. They're all different in different ways. They're all sad and wonderful and absolutely scary. I started watching the 3rd season. I have not finished it yet. I think I watched like the first episode, but I'll get there eventually. I love Nick's work. I would love to find out if Nick actually wrote books. Yeah. So if you're a Channel Zero fan and Nick Antosca, is recommending this, it's probably going to be great. So, the last thing I found here were a couple of children's horror books. Of course, I love Goosebumps. I have a whole channel called Michael Goosebumps Fan focused on Goosebumps. It's my favorite book series probably ever of all time. When it comes to, I guess you could say, anthology, they're not all connected is what I mean. Not always. I love children's horror. When you have a good middle grade horror book, you can find some really great stuff out there. Mary Downing Hahn does some really great stuff. My favorite of hers currently is Took. Absolutely great. Really scary, really sad. Flies by some of these middle grade books because they're typically kind of short too. Goosebumps is great. Fear Street is more YA, but it's still fantastic. I love some Fear Street. I found this today. I've never heard of this. I feel like somebody in the comments on that channel had recommended this to me at some point. I have not 100% been able to confirm that. Not that I'm going to try to. But I found a bunch of these books called Creepers. This is books 3 and 4. The first one, which is number 3, is called The Gravedigger by Edgar J. Hyde. Apparently all these are written by Edgar J. Hyde. I assume it's like a mixture of Edgar Allan Poe and, obviously Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I assume J and Edgar J. Hyde. I assume J, within Edgar J. Hyde is supposed to represent Jekyll. Whatever. It's probably a pseudonym. Book 3, The Gravedigger. Looks kind of neat. Cover's not as good as this other one here. This one is Stage Fright. And apparently there have been 4 million copies of these books sold so far. I think this looks so cool. I'm super stoked for Stage Fright. This looks awesome. I love these witches here. They look really spooky. The fact that there's anybody putting out covers like this with these scary, ghoulish looking witches, and then kind of whatever this is supposed to be. These are urban legend-esque, which I really like. I hope they're good. I really hope they're good. I'm going to talk about them on that channel eventually, so if you want a review on there, I can probably put it up there. If you want a review here, I'll put a review here for you guys. Maybe I'll record 2 different reviews at the time. I don't know. We'll find out. But I really, really, really am excited to read all 5 of these books. They all look really good. I'm having a blast with the current book I'm reading. It's a Richard Lehman book. I'll surprise you soon with that review. Hopefully you'll enjoy that video whenever it comes out. But I had a massive excitement tonight when I went to Barnes & Noble on Valentine's Day of 2021, hoping this will be a better year. It's already looking like that with Barnes & Noble, this one visit. I'm not going to buy anything for a few weeks. I spent quite a bit of money on these books. My wife and I were both kind of like a little off about that. I felt bad about it. But at the same time, these are going to be fun, I think. I think these will all be really good. Very curious what the Romero book's like. But anyway, what are your thoughts on these 5 books? Did you love them? Did you hate them? Have you read them yet? Are you gonna read them yet? Have you bought them already? I'd love to hear all your thoughts down below in the comments. I would love to hear some recommendations for you guys on these things or things that you think I should read or pick up sometime. Probably gonna be a while off till I do, but let me know. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today. Hopefully you'll stick around. I get some reviews for these in the future, God willing. Anyway, thank you for watching again. God bless you, and goodbye.